Picture this. You work at a company with no dress code, no 9 to 5 schedule, no vacation limits. You don't even need approval to make decisions. Just context. Sounds like a dream, right? Will you work at that kind of company? Hmm. I see some people say yes in the chat box. Yeah, that's Netflix. Freedom, innovation, and intense performance expectation. Netflix purpose is to entertain the world, but internally, it's built on freedom and responsibility. The culture that has shaped HR thinking globally. Brad Hastings, as software engineer and co-founder, believe high-performing people don't need roles; they need trust. At Netflix, leadership isn't about micromanaging. It's about trusting people to lead themselves. They are not approval chains, just context, not control. The company champions radical candor. Feedback is immediate, direct, and constant, and the bar is set high. One of the core practices is the keeper task. Manager will ask themselves, would I fight to keep this person? If not, they are let go with a generous severance. From the outset, Netflix looked unstoppable. Its net promoter score is 67, showing a strong customer loyalty. While internally, Glassdoor review averaged 4.2 out of 5, and 84% recommend Netflix to a friend. That culture produces excellence, but it also breeds anxiety. Glassdoor review praise the pay and the freedom, but some says it's too good to be true. It's a cutthroat environment where one missteps could lose your job. Let me ask you something. You could raise your hand or respond in the chat box. Would you feel comfortable working in a place where your job could be at risk simply for being average? Yeah, I can see some people say yes and some people say no. That's the paradox of Netflix. It's exciting, empowering, and elite, but it's not for everyone. Netflix doesn't do formal training. No onboarding binders, no mandatory rules, no career progression ladders. So, how does knowledge move? It flows through feedback. It's rapid, unfiltered, peer to peer. They rely on informal coaching, team autonomy, and radical candor. And you also learn by doing. And if you're good, by teaching others. Patty McCord called it a team, not a family. But without structure, junior staff often lack growth pathways. Tested knowledge isn't captured. It walks out the door with levers. Netflix says, act in Netflix's best interest and don't wait for permission. That's sound empowering, and for some it is. Let's map Netflix culture to Gallup Key 12 engagement model. Employees would likely say yes to the first, the second, and the eighth questions. But how about this one? In the last 7 days, I have received recognition or praise for doing good work. Or there is someone at work who encouraged my development. This question reveals a gap. At Netflix, praise isn't built into the culture. The assumption is you are an adult. You don't need a pat on the back. Let's add some data. Netflix latest employee net promoter score is 34, based on 380 employee responses. That places it in top 10% of similarized company. 59% are promoters, 16 are neutrals, and 25% are detractors. So while most employees are engaged and loyal, 1 in 4 would not recommend working net in Netflix to a friend. That's significant. If your company gives you full autonomy but little support, are you truly engaged or just performing under pressure? Let's do a quick poll. Would you feel engaged in a workplace with no praise, no manager support, and full freedom? Thumbs up for yes, thumbs down for no. Yeah, I can see most people say yes. Netflix motivates differently. It's not about climbing ladders. It's about showing up as a fully formed professional. Let's map this to Maslow hierarchy of needs. Physiological check. Netflix pays top of the market salaries. Esteem. Yes, you are trusted, respected, and expected to excel. Self-actualization. Possibly, you have the freedom to do great work. But what about safety and belonging? With the keeper test, job security is fragile, and the no rules culture doesn't exactly foster emotional connection or peer support. It's very minimal. According to Hesberg two-factor theory, motivators like autonomy, challenge, and purpose are strong at Netflix. But hygiene factor like recognition, job security, and supervisor support are weak or even absent. So here's the paradox. Netflix hires stars and expect them to shine immediately. But without structured learning or growth pathways, even stars can burn out. Can mastery flourish without mentorship? Or are we assuming too much from even the best performers? Netflix attracts stars with top pay, but with the keeper test, they also expect the best. Constantly, you are only retained if your manager would fight to keep you. If not, you are let go. Even if you are doing a good job, job security is an illusion. Harvard says retention isn't just about money, it's about connection. Without support, even stars can burn out. Throughout this course, we explored the building blocks of effective HRM. So, how does Netflix align with what we have learned? It has a massive transformative purpose to entertain the world, which drives intrinsic motivation. It scores well on parts of Gallup's K-12, especially mission, autonomy, and clarity. Its ENPS of 34 and Glassdoor ratings show that many employees admire the freedom, but the lack of recognition and developmental support challenges the K-12 framework. The radical feedback, while bold, lacks of empathy found in models like the 4A feedback method, and its no-level flow, while fast, bypasses the structured learning we discussed in tacit to explicit knowledge transfers. Netflix does so many things right, but even the best scripts have plot holes. The theory tells us engagement, growth, and trust are built slowly. Netflix, it skips to the climax. So, what's the one thing Netflix can do to elevate its people strategy without compromising its performance culture? My recommendation is this: preserve the freedom that drives innovation, but build a safety net that fosters sustainable excellence. Introduce structured mentoring to guide junior talent and preserve institutional knowledge. Then provide feedback training using the 4A model so candor doesn't turn into conflict. And lastly, adapt HR practices regionally, especially in collectivist cultures where direct feedback can backfire. Netflix has mastered talent acquisition. Now it's time to master talent sustainability. Because in the long run, freedom without support is just another word for waste. Don't hire stars, let them shine. As Richard Branson said, train people well enough so they can live. Treat them well enough so they don't want to. That's the balance Netflix now needs. Thank you.